Hey, welcome back, everybody. This episode, we're going to be talking about Vibes that released in 1988, starring Cyndi Lauper as Sylvia Pickle, my favorite actor and man crush, Jeff Goldblum as Nick Deasy. It's also, yeah,
Easy.
Deasy. Also starring Peter Falk as Harry, believe it or not, Steve Buscemi as Fred, and
Buscemi.
Buscemi. I've heard it pronounced both ways, so I'm just
Really?
going with the last one I heard. But I always used to say Buscemi. Julian Sands as Dr. Harrison Steele. Uh, this was just such a great movie that I happened to just find one day, just kind of scrolling through some movies.
It shocked me. I've never heard of this movie, and I was like, how is it possible?
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi, Cyndi Lauper, and Jeff Goldblum in a movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just such a crazy coincidence, but I'm glad I happened upon it. So this movie starts out in the very beginning. Some dudes are in Ecuador, in the mountainous regions there. They're being led by a Sherpa, and that guy takes him to some ancient city that has like a relic, a triangular relic in the middle. They begin to uh, kind of chisel away at that relic. Uh, and during the course of that, um, they shoot the Sherpa guy because he's trying to stop them. And then the one guy, after uncovering majority of that relic, which was some sort of glowing like pyramid, he grabs it and starts speaking in tongues, and his
Hmm.
friend, who was with him, tries to grab him to help him, but then some sort of energy throws him back.
Doesn't
Mhm.
he dissolve, or is it the guy touching it?
The guy touching it dissolves as he's speaking in tongues. He just disappears into the nether. He's just gone. Then the movie cuts away, and now we're in New York. And you see this guy walking on the street, and someone's doing that 3 card Monty. So he just puts down some money, and the guy's like, "Hey, find your card." Boom, picks it, wins all the money. And then immediately walks into this clinic. Well, it's not really a clinic; it's
What do you call it? Like a study.
like a study. So it's full of scientists and doctors, and what they're doing is psychic testing. And so he's apparently one of the test subjects. And in this movie, psychics are not conveyed as bullshit as most of the time in the real world. They actually are real. A lot of them have various different psychic abilities. Um, so during this testing, Cyndi Lauper is being talked to by 2 scientists, one of which starts drawing just a random thing, ends up drawing an elephant, and of course, she hands a already drawn picture of some elephants, and so boom, she had already knew what he was going to draw. And then it circles us to Jeff Goldblum's character, and he has like 30 knives in front of him, and he's going through each one of the knives. And his psychic ability, he has to touch things, and he can see pretty much past, present, and future, right?
Yeah.
Anything to really do about that item. And one of them, he's like, "Hey, this was freshly opened out of the package." And then this one is from the cafeteria here at the uh, university or wherever they're being studied at.
He touches the table.
Well, then he eventually gets to a knife, and he starts freaking out and having like a panic attack. He's like, and then come to find out that was a murder weapon that had stabbed somebody 7 to 8 times. And he's like, "Why'd you hand me that? Now I can see that, right?" And then that's when he touches the table, and he's like, "Someone's had sex on this table." And the 2 scientists interview him, just kind of look at each other like, "Oh my god, he knows." But then later on, they're all having lunch, and um, they're all kind of talking about their different psychic abilities. One dude apparently can move things with telekinesis with his mind. at the price of pissing his pants.
Right.
But it's pretty interesting to just kind of see everybody's unique abilities, of which Cyndi Lauper's character and Jeff Goldblum are both among the most powerful, gifted, I should say. Uh,
Mhm.
so Cyndi, her character, she has she's a medium. So she has a spiritual friend who kind of helps her out with stuff. And I believe she said she was in some sort of coma or something. And when she woke up, that's who was there, was that psychic spirit. And then Nick just always had, well, I say Nick because Jeff Goldblum's character is Nick. Um, Jeff Goldblum's character has always had this ability ever since he was a kid. He's not really sure where he got it. But then, as their time at that facility comes to an end, Jeff Goldblum, Cyndi Lauper start talking. She kind of goes, "Hey, my psychic friend Luis says that your girlfriend's cheating on you," and he doesn't believe it. But when he's later at his apartment, um, he's like holding her panties, and he's like, "Another man's held these panties," and
Man.
her excuses are hilarious. She's like, "Oh, that was my dad. He was helping me do the laundry, and your
Your
dad's
dad's
a two-time NFL champion that just scored a goal this night," and blah blah blah. And it's as if she forgot that he could do that. And so,
idiot.
and then she tries to normalize it by being like, "Look, I'm lonely. You can just forgive me, and we can, save all this effort we've put in to our relationship." It was a bunch of bull crap, and he ends up
What a
leaving her. Good for him.
what a
um
narcissist, right?
I know, right? It's as if she didn't do anything wrong. um but anyway, he breaks up with her. And Cyndi Lauper's character goes to her apartment, where as she comes into the apartment, she finds um, a man there. And it's this is where you first see um, Harry, um, who is raiding her fridge for some reason. He has just let himself, excuse me, into her apartment and is just raiding her fridge.
I just find that so weird. Like,
And so she grabs a shotgun, a very nice shotgun, I might add, out of a closet, and then is holding him at gunpoint. And he's there to say that he's trying to hire her as a psychic to find his lost son, who went to Ecuador and is now lost. And he's got $50,000 cash to hire her. So, oh, I missed the best part before that, so forgive me. Steve Buscemi's character is an ex-boyfriend of hers. And
mhm.
so he had tried to, I guess, rekindle something, and they're at a horse race track, and he keeps begging her to ask her psychic friend the winning horses, and her psychic friend is telling her, "Hey, he's just trying to use you," but
Right.
eventually convinces her psychic friend to give the information. He wins a lot of money, but then as they're leaving, his girlfriend's there, like, "Hey, are you all done?" And that's when you find out he's really just using her
Man,
for the
jerk.
dick. But that's his whole part in the movie there. Um, but circling back to Harry being in her apartment, so after she hears him out, um, the next scene is Jeff Goldblum at his place of employment, which is a museum. He's a what was he, a curator?
Yeah, he was like a curator,
So,
which great job for him and his ability, but they totally abused the hell out of him.
oh, for sure. So his whole job is really to kind of confirm the antiquities. I can say words. I'm an American boy. Anyway, to confirm the antiquities that are purchased for the museum, to confirm authenticity and kind of see what they are. But his boss likes to use him as parlor tricks, and he has like these
Hmm.
investors, I think they were,
Yeah,
uh, like 20 of them, and he wanted him to kind of do all the parlor tricks of like holding their keys and figuring stuff out like from their pockets and all these weird things. And he's
gosh.
tired of being treated as like a novelty. He wants to be taken more serious, so he tries to say he needs to take a sabbatical, and of course his boss won't let him, so he just quits.
Yeah, because wasn't he like, I need you to go get the stuff out of the back and put the turban on? And
Yeah, he was wanting
it's just, Straight
Yeah, like
disrespectful.
a circus magician is kind of what they were wanting him to dress up as, like a Houdini, you know. Um, but as he's leaving, Cyndi Lauper's character kind of meets him at the exit, and she's got the $50,000 and says that she needs his help with this job because she
They're the best.
you're right, because she knows he's very skilled with what he's got, and then together they should be able to do it. So he takes her up on the offer, and then now they are shown in Ecuador, um, at the hotel, and uh, Cyndi Lauper's character, for some reason, just feels like she's really never got a chance with a guy, which is sad because very attractive woman. She's very pretty. For some reason, in this reality, I guess people just,
That's her shtick, and
yeah, I guess it's just a hard love life. But so she's there and she's trying to live it up a little bit. And as they're at lunch or dinner, I guess, at the
the.
hotel, she sees like this really attractive um, Ecuadorian man, and tells Jeff Goldblum's character to kind of help her out with something to say, and it gets the attention of this guy. And when he comes over to talk to him, she's gives him a fake name and says, "Oh, this is my brother," talking about
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum. And so they go off to dance, and later on, she goes to his room, and then while they were there dancing, one of the patients being studied at the psych clinic, um, I think his name's Indigo. No, that's from Princess Bride. I
No,
think
I
it's
don't remember.
Ingo. I think it was Ingo. Um, he shows up there. Very odd, very suspicious. Um, but he's just there, I guess, it was his excuse.
Mhm.
And anyway, so Jeff Goldblum's character, he's just kind of there in the dancing area in the dinner place, and then he sees this very attractive Latina, and she gives him the doomy vibes. So they
I see. I think they're the "I'm gonna kill you and wear your skin" vibe.
maybe that's what other Latinas can see in that look. Us men, we just see the doomy vibe. Um, so they're back up in his room having some private drinks, and she goes to the bathroom to slip into something a little more revealing, and pretty much at that time she hands him it almost looked like a seltzer tablet, like a just some sort of Tums or something. It's like, hey,
Right.
take this. It's gonna be real good, you know. And he has, of course, his ability when he touches things, he can see everything about it. And as soon as he touches it, he realizes he's like, no, this was made in a basement in New Jersey, and this is PCP. You're trying to
Yeah.
drug me, or no, he said
Well, he was like, "You got ripped
yeah, you
off,"
got
or
ripped off. This isn't at all what you said it was, because she was trying to say it was an aphrodisiac or something.
yeah.
And then she pulls out a knife, and he's like, hey, you don't have to be upset about it.
See, I told you they were I'm gonna kill you and wear your skin vibe.
Exactly. But you won't know that until after the Doomy vibes. But so she tries to kill him. She fails, actually falls out the window, because they're, I think, on the third floor. So she falls to her presumed death. Um, but she did slice him in the arm. So he fears now that Cyndi Lauper's character Sylvia is also in danger. Goes and finds that guy's room. Uh,
It
walks in.
turns out he was just a normal
Just
guy.
actually, he was a ambassador to somewhere, some
Yeah.
country. So, um, he walks in just in time to see what presumably looked like, some garrote wire. Like he was going to strangle her with something. So he hits him over the back of the head with like a bottle of wine, knocks him out, and then finds out it was just a really nice diamond necklace. It's, one of those, oopsie moments. um, but, trying to save her, doing the right thing. And then the guy comes to, and his assistant's there, like, why would you knock out so and so, the ambassador from somewhere I can't remember? Not really important. Um, and then they get kicked out of the room. She's upset at Jeff Goldblum's character because she kind of had a chance with like a rich, powerful guy.
Right.
And then, so then they go to Harry's room and they're trying to say, like, hey, so I got attacked and blah, 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 blah. They follow uh, Nick, Jeff Goldblum's character, back to his room to see where the body that fell over the balcony was. It's not there anymore. And unfortunately, they don't really explain it. What happened to the body? It's weird.
Right.
It may have gotten left on the cutting room floor, unknown. But the body's not there anymore, and he's trying to tell him, like, hey, look, I got attacked, and shows him the wound on the arm, like, I didn't just make this up. And so they go to take him to the hospital to get some stitches, and while they're at the hospital, who was it? Cyndi Lauper's character, Sylvia? Yeah, Sylvia's
Oh my gosh.
her psychic
Yeah.
friend, Louise, starts giving her some information that somewhere on the floor that they're on,
Oh, the psychic energy.
there's a massive amount of psychic energy, so they follow it.
Oh my
And
God, my favorite
This
part.
is your favorite part, Sophie. So they follow it to a room, and Harry sees the guy. Oh, this whole time he keeps saying that he's trying to find his son.
Yeah.
And then he goes, oh, well, I'm the son. Is really my dad. My mom remarried. So you come to find out this guy's been lying, but ultimately he comes kind of clean that
He wants to find the freaking treasure.
so whatever this lost city is, they're supposed to be it's a city of gold, kind of like El Dorado, but in Ecuador. And this guy was supposed to be going to find it, and so he sort of comes clean with them. So that's why they're still trying to help him. So when they go to this hospital room, excuse me, he's like, hey, it's Bert, blah 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 blah. They start talking to him, and Harry's trying to figure out, like, did you find it? Where is it? And he's trying to find out the temple's location.
And the dude is messed up. Like,
It,
he's been decimated by psychic energy or something. He's losing his mind,
he's
essentially.
losing his mind. Information's just pouring out of his head, random information, just kind of at random intervals. But the best part about this scene, I have to take a moment. It is Sophie's favorite because apparently it stars Ethan Klein from H3H3.
The dude looks just like him. It shocked me. I was like, oh my God, babe, is that H3H3 guy? It's got to be him. That's Ethan.
Well, his hair is so crazy, like how Ethan's gets, and the way he's laying in the hospital bed, it kind of, has like that neck fupa thing that he has going on. So
Yeah.
we'll show a clip of that. But yeah, so apparently it's Ethan from H3H3 there starring, but nonetheless, the dude's just spitting off Babish, just kind of left and right. And Nick, Jeff Goldblum's character, comes in because he, I think, dies at the end after he was talking. And when Nick touches him, all that psychic energy that
it like transferred
yes, to Nick, and he now knows where the temple is located. And they go to leave, and Ingo, the other psychic dude who had followed them there, is now in the hospital, and he pulls out a gun.
God, and we can't ever tell where he's from because he has all these different languages.
I have forgot to mention this. So apparently this dude is from
German.
like Denmark or Sweden or somewhere around there, and I don't even think he knows because his accent changes from scene to scene or sentence to sentence. Like he doesn't even know where he's at.
I'm never gonna forget him saying mother.
Mother, yes, mother, Mudder, mother. This man,
and then,
God bless his soul, could not decide on an accent to use when probably none would have been the best choice.
Yeah, I know. And then, like, when Cindy's character is trying to save their lives because he was going to shoot them for information and stuff, she starts channeling his mother with a German song and stuff. And I'm like, okay, so is he German? We don't know.
Yeah, I don't think the filmmakers knew either. Unfortunately, he just went into it day by day, just doing an accent.
So he's a friend of a friend.
He's a friend of a friend of a friend of a deaf person, because apparently they didn't know what he sounded like. But yes, anyway, he's holding him at gunpoint. Cyndi Lauper's character Sylvia channels his mom into the into her body, starts talking with him, singing him his lullabies from as a kid. He starts getting distracted, I guess, from emotions. Oh, he shot the nurse that was on that floor.
Yeah, he shot her arm.
Yeah,
She was pissed off enough about
she
it.
was she was not somebody you'd want to mess with. She looked like she'd take on Mike Tyson. She looked pretty built.
Oh yeah.
But So she regains consciousness and grabs a chair and whacks him over the back of the head with it, knocking him out. So they make their escape, and now they start on their way to the Lost Temple. And the whole time they're now being followed by mysterious people, and they do get really close to the temple. And Nick, during the night, for some reason, oh, uh,
Yeah, they kind of have like their interactions. They have like a minor romantic like connection or whatever because she starts to really like Nick.
yeah, they start to have a real kindling into their relationship and grow closer during this trip. And I forgot to mention when they were in the hospital when they found Bert. Um, he had a piece of the temple. It was like a stone carving that they had ripped off the pyramid, and so Jeff Goldblum's character took it. And when they got close to the temple, that piece started like shaking and like moving.
Right.
So Nick took it and then followed it and got real close, and then that piece just kind of flew off on its own in the night, and he followed it during the night and found the temple, and then made his way back because in the morning they were when
Oh, they thought he bolted.
yeah, because he wasn't there, but he eventually comes in back to the camp, and he's kind of freaked out because it's a lot of psychic energy there, so it's kind of messed with him for just a bit, not like much like everyone else. But by this time, um, Harry's talking, and he just stops talking and falls onto his face with a knife in his back, and it's Ingo again. And he apparently tracked him down with some other guy and threw a knife and killed Harry, and Harry dies. Which this whole time, I mean, they kind of been building up Harry as like a funny, lovable, old man kind of
Hmm.
character. Yeah, he's pretty cool. And now he's dead. And again, here comes Ingo with his 30 different, accents, you know, trying to be somebody. I don't know.
Right.
And uh, then you find out that the doctor that is played by Julian Sands, Dr. Harrison, he comes out of the shadows apparently, and he is the mastermind behind all of this.
Right.
And him and those other two guys, the two goons with him, they know there's no city of gold, but everyone else is always under the impression it's gold. But they know there's some sort of psychic energy there. That's what they really want. So they force Jeff Goldblum's character to actually lead him to the temple, which he does reluctantly. And uh, there they find that pyramid thing and begin trying to decode all the hieroglyphs and see about it. And essentially, what it boiled down to was it was a weapon created and used by ancient civilizations to wipe out their enemies.
Right.
And that's what they intend to do now, is utilize it for that, to kind of take over the world. And Cyndi Lauper's character is the only one that I guess can understand the glyphs because of her
Oh
medium
yeah.
ability.
Hmm.
And she also appears to be the only one that can touch it safely, sort of. I think if she gets lost in it, she probably has a chance, and that's just my interpretation of it. If she gets lost in the energy, she could probably be taken away like everyone else who's messed with it. But if she focuses, she does eventually use it to destroy all those three guys by sending Mr. 29 accents and a half into
Hmm.
the nether, and then using it to like crush the doctor with a big large stone face. Um, but during the process of that, she loses her psychic friend Luis
As
because
Louise sacrificed herself to save her.
exactly, and that's how she was able to use it, is kind of through Luis's sacrifice. So she's back in the hospital at the end, and Jeff Goldblum's there, and she's basically saying that, like, hey, you know, Luis is gone. She did this. She saved my life. Blah 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 blah. And then at the very end, before the credits, she said, "Wait, there's someone here." And Jeff Goldblum's like, "Is it Luis? You know, they want Luis
Right.
back." She said, "No," and then she gets this peculiar puzzled face on her, and she's like, "Harry?"
I
And
know,
yeah, and
right?
then so now Harry's her new spirit guide, and
I'm happy about that
yeah,
because
Harry's
like he
back.
was he was a cool
He
dude and
was. It
it
was
sucked
cool.
that he got shot or stabbed.
Yeah, stabbed in the back, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I know, but um, but that was vibes. I mean, that's kind of it in a nutshell. And
It's a pretty good movie.
yeah, it.
I was just shocked to even see these two play in this movie whatsoever, and I love this movie.
Yeah, you were telling me about that, about seeing Cyndi Lauper in a movie, and I was like, yeah, I mean, but with her music past and everything, it's she's been in quite a few movies now that I was looking, and we need to check them all out, of course. But yeah, this was such a good casting, except for Ringo. I don't know who greenlit that. They clearly didn't hear him audition for anything because
No, he was a friend of a
he was
friend.
a friend of a friend of a blind deaf person. Yeah, I don't know what the
Do him a
blind part had
favor.
to do with it, but deaf. Yeah, they're definitely deaf.
He's a friend of a friend.
Yeah. But everyone else, I mean, this movie's not very long, so you know you get through it kind of quickly. But just it's funny. It's an '80s movie. It was done,
Good comedy
yeah, good
too.
comedy for the time. And again, I'm partial to Jeff Goldblum. He is my man crush. I don't know why. I just like Jeff Goldblum. It
He's cool.
he's yeah. I like his style. You know, I just like the way he works. It's good stuff.
He's an international fashion icon.
Exactly that. But it just I don't know. The comedy worked in this movie. I liked how they made psychics like a real thing in this universe. Um, when I first had come across this movie and I was kind of reading what it was about, I thought it was going to be some psychics, quote unquote, you know, and they were fakes and they're having to like fake it to actually find someone who was lost because the description
Mm-hmm.
just said, you know, lost son. So I'm sitting there thinking like, oh God,
What?
they're going to be out there getting lucky, you know, trying to find this lost little boy. And little beknownst to me, it's like, no, this is all just a big scam over some gold and stuff. So it was a pleasant surprise.
A much better surprise.
Yeah, a much better surprise. And I don't know, it worked. I liked watching it. It's one that I'll watch again and again, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um just to see the antics that go on with it. It's just fun.
And you gotta love Cyndi Lauper's accent in this movie.
Oh my god, it is so New Jersey. Whether she's from New Jersey or not, it's such a Jersey accent, but it works. I love it. It makes her feel real American, you know? Like if I was a European person watching this, it's like, oh yes, that's American. I don't know what
Yeah,
accent that was. I'm just Ingo in this movie, apparently.
yeah, you're
Yeah, I'm
Ingo.
just picking weird ass accents. Her costume choice too, her outfits are just very
They're so Cindy.
outspoken. Yeah. They're very, hey, I'm here to make a statement.
Yeah,
And
they're
I
so
like that.
Cindy.
Yeah. Um yeah, I don't know what else to really say about it. This one's kind of, you know,
It's
it's a quick
it's
dry
worth
run, you
watching.
know.
Yeah, it's worth watching.
Oh, definitely worth watching.
Can guarantee you've probably never seen
Yeah,
this, 'cause I never heard of it.
yeah, a majority of you probably never even heard of it or probably just saw it kind of scrolling through and didn't think anything of it.
Watch it for Ethan.
Yeah, and just, you know, keep an open mind. I mean, it's a little goofy sometimes. I mean, with older movies like this, especially with the effects and sometimes the storylines, I guess, with how weird they are, and then this Ingo guy with his crappy, inconsistent accents. But hey, that's really honestly my only complaint about the whole movie is that dude's accent problem.
Yeah.
That's the only problem with it. Other than that, I mean, it's a fun movie to just kind of curl up to, with it being coming towards the winter, cold, uh, you know, some hot chocolate, curl up with your loved ones, and just put it on. Just kind of chill out with a movie night. It's a good movie night thing. Have some pizza, maybe. I don't know. It's just a good one.
Popcorn.
Popcorn, yes.
But yeah, thanks for joining us on our episode about vibes. I highly recommend this movie. Do it for Jeff.
Jeff Goldblum for president. Thank y'all.